lot to be said about how people deal with the situation that we're faced with at the moment, and that we have been faced with over this year. That being in lockdown is very much against what we would expect and what we have experienced before. And so it's really usual and normal that people would feel different and unusual psychological reactions as a result of being in lockdown and being faced with a pandemic. And so it's very usual that people would feel a drop in their mood, or that people would feel that their anxiety or stress levels were to increase. These are pretty expected reactions given all of the realities that people are being faced with or have been faced with throughout this year. But I would expect that being in lockdown does bring about changes in mood, increases in anxiety. Losing people during a pandemic, when there aren't the opportunities to be able to mourn or to grieve in ways in which we might be used to or accustomed to, presents a number of difficulties. And one of the sad realities of the pandemic and of COVID-19 has been that for many people, they've been denied the opportunity to be able to hold that public experience of grieving and hold that experience, or have that opportunity to be able to connect with the person that they've lost. And one of the things that we might see as a result of that is that there's an unresolved loss around the person that has passed away, that for people that have lost a family member and they've not had the opportunity to connect as much as possible with the loved one, they might feel that there's a lingering sense of loss or grief that isn't as resolved as what it would otherwise be if they'd had that opportunity to be able to do so. In isolation, these things are so challenging for people. They're so difficult for people to be able to deal with, to be able to experience and to be able to cope with. And then when you add on top of that a pandemic, which also in isolation is very, very difficult. And so you've got two complex things, okay, that just on their own would be so challenging for someone to be able to deal with. And then when you put them together, it just exacerbates and multiplies the challenge that people experience. And so that makes it even harder than it would be to be able to deal with the disaster, the earthquake or the bushfire or whatever the natural disaster might be. So it just only increases it. And so it just adds to the challenge that people are experiencing. "2020 has been challenging for most people all around the world for a range of reasons, and probably a year unlike anything that we'll experience in our lifetime again. Those experiences of the wars, together with a pandemic, is such an unusual experience. You know, a pandemic is often spoke about as in a 1 in 100 year experience. And it's really important that people don't misinterpret the experience as something that means that there is no hope for the future. That it is important that people appreciate that this year is unlike anything that we've certainly experienced before, and hopefully unlike anything that we'll experience in the future. That this is a chance experience, a bad chance experience, and that it's hopefully, as I say, unlikely to happen again for any of us.